This is GACenter, your look into the Grand Arena Championship matches of over 60 of the world's best content creators. Here are your hosts, the Nev from the Escape Podcast and Ranger from Reality Skewed Gamers.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the GACenter, where we cover all of the top content creators that do Grand Arena Championships. We're in our final month of Season 2, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the wonderful, the delectable Ranger J, 1999 from Reality Skewed Gamers. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. None of those things describe me. But yeah, man, things are tightening up, man. This is an interesting week, man. Some winners, some losers, some wooden spoons. Oh my. So
some shame. A couple people shamed.
Boy.
Yeah, no, very, very good. Some heartfelt losses as well, you know.
I know.
Some heartfelt losses, but you know, we'll get to that when we start covering those individuals, which I think we should get into right away, don't you?
Let's start it off. All right, so we start with Division 3 and 4. We start with our boy, the Canadian rocker there, rocking some good Canadian music with that maple syrup and good Maple Leaf stuff. We've got the one and only Andy Beads, who went 2-1, and he starts off his report with saying 2-1 again. He says, round 1, both full cleared each other. I was able to be more efficient with my attacks, thus getting the win. Round 2, again, both full cleared each other. Again, I was able to be more efficient with my attacks. And then round 3, the loss. Says, went up against an SLKR team for the first time. That is all. That's all you need to know. And that kept him from his 3-0. So, yep. But it's still 2-1 good week for me.
Still 2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
The stats are missing because nothing had gone from CG to SWGOH.GG.
Yep. So we're giving you all the reports.
Okay, so we're on to Commander Cody, and as happens when we get our stats early from SWGOH.GG, it's part of the partnership that we've got. So our competitors, we get the stats early, but every now and then that doesn't translate to the stats being up on SWGOH.GG. No. So if we haven't got a report and there's no stats on SWGOH.GG, we literally have nothing to say other than Commander Cody went 2-1. He must have had a bad round because he didn't go 3-0, and that is all.
Well, that's kind of how that works, yeah. All right, yeah. So we'll move on to my man Infinitum, to Infinitum and beyond. And I think I'm having a stroke or I'm seeing something wrong here. And then I read the report. Infinitum went 2-1 this week. Holy moly in the fraholi. He says, rip number 1 Erodium. Let's see what happened. Round 1, this was a win. Says bracket only had 6 players. This one had a low top GPN roster and didn't have much of a chance. Gave him some teams to clean up feeds, but that's it. Couldn't get through his gas. Round 2, opponent had a similar low GP and roster and also lost. He lost to Gear 8 Bad Batch. Looking forward to seeing that on SWGOH.GG. Round 3, this is the loss. This face number 5 eroding player. He managed to pull a 62.1 banner average on my defense. I got through most of his defense well. Got some poor RNG with stuns in the fleet battle. I needed 64 and bounty hunters to pull off, but my solo OG Kyle got disintegrated. It was an epic fight down to the wire and incredibly close to pulling off, but in the end, so I know no longer need to stress about the GAC season. 2-1 for Infinitum.
I don't think he needs to worry too much because obviously his primary competitor was Cody, and Cody went 2-1 as well. So don't fret too much, Infinitum. Anyway, we're moving on to Stone. Stone is one of the top competitors, and he had another bad week. Round 1.
Another 2-1. What is
another
happening?
2-1. I mean, similar thing happened with Stone in Season 1. Blistering start, 3-0 after 3-0 after 3-0, absolutely smacking it. And then towards the end, it just tailored off. It just went off. And that seems to be happening right now. Round 1, easy win against an auto deploy. Round 2 was a loss. That was the loss. Stone got stuck behind a negotiator in the fleet node. And unfortunately, he could not get the double tap. Stopped him dead in his track, stopped him getting the full clear and the win. Round 3 was a win as Stone got the full clear and his opponent was a DNS. Did not show. But 2-1, we'll have to see how that shakes out in the table.
All right. Next on, we move on to our, why is my mouse not working? Okay, there it is. To Renard the Fox. Is that right? 3-0?
No, Renard went 2-1.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's not correct, because I was about to say I have come to report that I have had failure this week, but I still will give it for your pleasure.
Give it for our pleasure.
Yes, for your pleasure, fans. So 2-1, he says a week of efficiency battles. Round 1 faced an opponent. He was on global position 20, but still won by 6 spinners. Outstanding. Round 2 says a 5-star TIE bomber demolished my entire rebel fleet, but 3 unexpected defensive holds got me the win. And then round 3, oh no, this is where it happens. It's timed out on Jedi Knight Revan Mirror with only Basel on opponent's site standing. There was the missing banners in the end, costing the loss. But he said the week was great fun. So he went 2-1 for Renard, which I'm just not used to seeing. This is nutso.
Yeah, got the correct stats up now. Yeah, Renard. Oh, you kind of looking at that and you're thinking, because obviously the fight is between Renard and Stone.
Yeah, but Stone went 2-1 again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an outside chance for, Infinitum, but
there was an outside chance for an Infinitum but obviously with that
you never know. I mean, the last week anything can happen.
Anything can happen in we've seen people go 1 and 2. Yeah. We have seen people go 1 and 2. So let's bring up the next slide, which is the table. So yeah, that's how close it is. Obviously, Stone again going 2-1 does give Infinitum. I mean, if Infinitum had just gone 3-0, he'd have been on Stone's heels for that second spot. But yeah. Renard losing 1, I mean, it's made it much sketchier.
It's wide open. It's yeah.
It has made it sketchier, because if Stone can go 3-0 and Renard has a really bad week, and it would have to be a really bad week, I think he would still have to go 1 and 2, because Renard could go 2-1 as long as he's getting the clearances. As long as he's getting those clearances, he could go 2-1 and still take the Division 3 title. Stone could not. I mean, he could get a triple but not get full clears. And unless Stone and Infinitum are doing that for this final week, and Renard has like an absolute nightmare and still gets wins but doesn't get full clears, I mean, that could change everything. But yeah, it's just something we're going to have to wait and see on.
All right.
Anyway, let's cover the half a dozen people, less than half a dozen, the half of a half a dozen people that we've got in Division 2. Vendetta went 3-0. No report from him, but clearly
pretty good week.
He's. I mean, you see, here's the thing. You and we would look at that and go, "That's a pretty good week." But I know for a fact that he would say that that's a crap week, because Renard, he's a little bit like Renard, and he's a little bit like Calvin, in that to him a triple only counts if it's a 27. If you get the full clearance and the win. Vendetta does not like getting a win without getting a full clear. I don't know if maybe it's his OCD, but he won't be happy with that, even though anybody else in that position would be. So 3-0 for Vendetta.
Another 3-0 for Moyo. I have no report, but looking at these stats, pretty damn good week. I mean, missing the triple by just 1 loss. Other than that, I mean, full domination from Moyo. I don't know what to tell you, other than he had another incredible good week, but we'll have to wait till next time. Same thing with the next one, Marco, aka the Greed Gamer. Another solid week for Marco. 2-1. Be interesting. He had a lot of losses there, so I'd be interested to see what had really transpired in his 2-1? Was it one round where he got all those, or what happened? I mean, he had a lot of holds too, so it would have been an interesting report to see, but we don't have any information, didn't get a written report, so I don't know the specifics, and we can't really get into the weeds on it. So yeah, there we go.
And Vendetta
I mean, look at that.
continues to stay. I mean that's a carbon copy of it's the carbon copy of the top of the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean,
That is a carbon copy of the Premier League. But I mean, I think Moyo's the first person to hit 100K. I do think Moyo is the first person to hit 100K. That is a ridiculous amount of banners.
Yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous. 100K in banners.
Yeah, so they can't tie because Moyo's got a huge advantage there on that. If they tie, or
if they tie, if
or if he
Moyo
goes
does,
3-0 and Vendetta, well, actually no. If Moyo goes 3-0 and Vendetta loses, he does not have the banner coverage.
No, he does not have the banner. No, he doesn't. He does not.
That's so interesting,
and
man.
that's what
talk about nail biters.
I think that's one of the reasons why Vendetta's gets annoyed. He gets really, really annoyed if he doesn't get the full clip, because he's had at least four. He's had at least 3 or 4 triples where he has not got full clears in every single round, and that's where the banner difference is coming from. So yeah, it's going to make the last week in Division 2 very interesting. So let's go into the minors. Jake, we don't know. We don't have any stats on Jake, and we didn't get a report, so don't know if he got booted. We just don't know. So we're just going to move on straight away.
It's like it never happened. All right. My girl, Geek Girl. It was a pleasure hanging out with her last weekend doing her comic book with the Bounty Honeys. You should check that out. It was a lot of fun with her and Chrissy, Paul's lovely wife. But Geek Girl says, went 2-1 this week. Round 1, I won on efficiency and been able to underdog a couple of things. Got the full clear, which is always nice. Round 2, won on banners. They dropped several battles against my defense. Able to pretty much one-shot full clear of them. Round 3, this is the loss on efficiency. They were able to do much more undersized than she was, but still a really good week. Good banners.
I mean,
girl, you take that. You'll take the 2-1, Geek Girl, because you've been doing much better. So 2-1, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because you look at the wins and you look at the losses, and you've had one-shots in all 3 rounds, but you know that you've just been pipped on efficiency in one of those rounds. So just bad luck. Or bad RNG. Scribe. Ooh.
Scribbles. Oh my sweet God.
Princess Scribbles.
What happened here? Rock of Gibraltar, more like the Pebble of Gibraltar. What happened?
He had his worst week ever. Round one was a cakewalk. No issues. Winning. Round 2, terrible fleet RNG. Stopped the full clear after an excellent ground offensive. He just got stuck behind fleet. And then round 3, he messed up bad. I mean, he wrecked his opponent's defenses, but he got cocky, didn't he? Got cocky on a first order team, thinking that he could do a JKL solar. Dropped the battle and dropped the battle without an attack, because the first order just decimated the JKL. Lost by 6 banners.
Damn.
6 banners. So 1 and 2 for Scribe's worst week of the season.
Yeah, that was a rough week for Scribbles. All right, moving on to the world famous Kate Gaming, who has been on an absolute tear of late. Another 3-0 for the world famous Kate Gaming. I mean, the paparazzi, they try to get a shot of her, but they never can. 3-0, let's see how she did. Round 1, got the full clear. Janet Luke got 5 holds from the opponent from getting to ships. Crew held up the back wall, so a dominating performance. Round 2. Says, I got stuck on ships, so no full clear for me, but couldn't get past her again. Her Jedi Luke and gave up. And then round 3, once again, I got stuck on ships, but Jedi Luke and Mon Mothma both got holds securing the win. Basically, she's saying Jedi Luke was the MVP this week for Kate Gaming. So 3-0, great job from Kate, continuing her winning ways.
World famous.
World famous for a reason.
Go watch Hamilton. And we're on to Bomber. We are on to Bomber Fair. Bomber, one of the most consistent competitors in the lower divisions that we have. Little Birdie tells me we might be getting joined by his brother in season 3. So yeah, you'll have to watch out for that. Apparently, his brother is a SWGOH content creator on YouTube, which is probably why most people haven't heard of him, because he's not on Twitch. So just wait out on that one. Anyway, Bomber, round one, got the flawless victory, and the icing on the cake was to see his defense hold completely. Only one squad defeated. Round two, another flawless victory for Bomber. Not massively efficient, but his opponent could only clear one territory. And then round three, the flawless victory that gave him the triple crown. Great score, great defensive holds, great week for Bomber. Oh, shame. I haven't got a bell to ring, but yeah,
well,
I haven't got a bell to ring.
Look what we found here.
Yeah, the llama forgot to join last week. So, you know, they've been getting put through the ringer on the Discord server.
Yes,
don't worry, they have been put through the ringer on the Discord server, but they were sure to join the minute it went live. So we will have a report, and we will have coverage of the llama next week.
We gotta have the llama.
But there's Division 1, and that bad round.
What did I say?
Scribbles.
Kate's on fire, and Scribbles had a bad look at Kate. She could end up, depending on how this week's. I mean, Boma's pretty much wrapped this up. There's no way he can lose this division now. So he will be the top spot.
Yeah,
but
he is going to be the minor league champion. Yeah,
he will be the minor league champion. And boy, I tell you what, Scribe, you better come correct, man. Kate's right there. She has another 3-0, and you go 2-1. It is all Kate, baby. I mean, it is all Kate. You got her on banners, but you can't be having a 1-2 or 2-1, because you know Kate's going to be coming hard and coming correct. I mean, she's on fire, man. So.
Well, that's just it. The tie has now been, you know, the banner difference is now irrelevant because they're tied. So, you know, Scribe, it's not a situation where Scribe has got one round on Kate. And it's like, oh, I can afford to go 2-1 and still beat Kate. He can't afford to do that now. He has to finish the last week 3-0 if he, because Kate's just Kate has been on fire for the last 2 months. She has been slowly climbing up that table, and she's been doing really well. So it's going to be I really thought that this division was dead and buried. It's not. I mean, sure, Bomber's going to go away with the title, but second place, and you know, all of the competitors know, hey, you get your name in gold and silver on the Discord server if you finish first and second in your league. So, you know, you're playing for that prize. You're playing for that prize. Okay, we are going to take a small break, but we will be back after Patreons and a quick...
Thanks, Neil. Stay tuned as some of your favorite streamers are coming up, but as always, we take a moment to recognize those that make this show even possible. With the Patreon leaderboard, I'm Paul Anthony, and as always, I'm joined by my robotic life partner, Newbie from Helly and the Noob, for the standings. These are monthly only boards and are courtesy to our Kyber Combatant level Patreons. Want to join the leaderboard next month? Join the Escape Podcast Patreon at patreon.com/theescapepod. There's no cast. At the $10 a month level or higher, and join all these wonderful people. Sign up for this season is of course over, but jump into next season's action by June 6th, and you can see your name up here as well. Let's get to it. Big Country Mags. He goes 3-0 on the rebound. Triple clear this week. His only trip up was in round 2. He says he underestimated an Ewok team that Nest timed out against. However, he states his biggest accomplishment was one-shotting a GL Ray with an ultimate and not losing anyone. Also consider, you know, he doesn't have his own GL. 63-57, 27 wins, 1 loss, 5 defensive holds. That is a triple whammy. D. His report mentions his record for the week, so let's read it. Another rough week for me, but I didn't forget to attack. Working on the GL grind and weathering the GAC matchmaking storm until then. 1-2 and feeling better about it. Good job, D. Further info for him, 54-32, 22 up, 3 down, 5 holds. Dr. JoJo, 3-0, of course. Round 1, he one-shot full clear, and his opponent only cleared one zone. Round 2, he dropped 2 battles versus Grievous, but still full cleared, and his opponent got stuck on his Darth Revan. Round 3, he placed all 4 Galactic Legends on defense for the poor guy. And reportedly through a crash, he couldn't even get to the back wall where 2 more GL awaited him. Whereas he one-shot full cleared him, except Dr. JoJo's game crashed on the Negotiator versus Empire, and so it shows up as a 2-shot in the fleets. 62-68, 27 wins, 3 losses, 13 holds, a triple whammy, and most holds for this week. Let's move on to Force Strong 1. Force Strong 2-1 for the week, and he says all good things must come to an end. His opponent in the 3rd round set a beautiful trap for him on the bottom, put gas in front that he had to mirror, leaving him with nothing for his opponent's Malik that was waiting for him in the back. Oh well, on to the last week, he states. 48-69, 19, 1, and 9. Hot Sauce, the creator of Hot Utils, who's included here because he's not a streamer, but check out hotutils.com and get access to some of the best tools in the game. Hot Sauce dropped down the board this week with a loss, 2-1, no reports, 62-30, 27-5, and 5. Leonard McFacepunch didn't join, all zeros, 0-3. Schnarman, he didn't report either, but he does go 3-0. Look at the stats, 52, 51, 21 wins, 0 losses, and 5 holds. 21 wins, which is max for his division. 0 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, triple crown for Schnarman this week. And finally, Sephironis, 0-3. He didn't join, but he says he's tired of the current divisions and awaits the realignment. He'll likely be a 0 next week as well, he says. Let's take a look at the board this week. Dr. JoJo and Schnarman both hanging on, 9-0. Now, JoJo drops a battle. Schnarman wins out. He takes it because everything, of course, is second one is banners. Record, then banners. So, looking at that, Force Strong is in 3rd. Hot Sauce in 4th. BCM in 5th. Now, you know, that unfortunately, that week he missed, he might be hanging with Force Strong, looking to possibly vault. And then D and Sephironis, and then Punchy bringing up the rear. You know what? Coming up after these words from SWGOH.GG, we'll be back with the A-Leagues for GACenter. For Noob and the Patreons, we thank you. Take it away, Neil and Ranger. Be nice to each other, damn it.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
And we're back.
Hey, that was quick.
That was very, very quick. That was such a quick break.
It's amazing.
It? Yes.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So, shut up and talk about me.
No,
me,
I don't feel
me.
like it. No, God, here we go. All right, let's look at this wanker Nev, who writes, the Nev is back in the 3rd person with a 3-0. Says, round 1, full clear. My opponent couldn't hack my defenses. Got the fleet and failed on negotiation, so they, one shot with 21-32 for Nev. It was close. Round 2, terrible round of spike, getting a full clear. What I wasn't expecting was a 21-03 even after losing 2 battles. And then round 3, and it was another full victory clear for Nev. The scouting was easy, and he did what I expected with one exception. Wasn't expecting to place the weak gas in the back. Easy undersized, triple whammy for the Nev, and great score of 21-37. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Nev. There,
I was,
you're an
I was.
Nev.
Hey, the round 2 one did surprise me though. I really wasn't. I threw my phone. I threw my phone after the fleet battle because it was my second loss, and I threw it thinking that's it. My 2100 is gone. I threw it. And then when I finished and I saw the 2103, I was like, how the hell did I lost 2 rounds. I had to double tap a fleet and I had to double tap a squad. And I still scored a 2100. So I must have been doing it right in other places, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Undersized. Ah, you're funny. You're a funny guy. Okay. Moving on to Mr. Awesome.
Well, looky what we
Calvin,
found. Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Here we go again.
3-0. All right.
3-0. Triple whammy. Round 1. Pretty good player, but his Ray was on defense and he didn't keep a slacker counter for offense. Big mistake that Mr. Awesome exploited.
You
getting
can't
the
make
win.
these mistakes against
You
Awesome.
cannot make
God
these
dang
mistakes against him, no. Round 2, very good opponent. Wrecked Calvin's entire board until he reached a JTR squad on the back, and he just couldn't defeat her. Could not beat her. Win to Calvin. Again, round 3, good player, good lifetime banners and mods. Didn't have a plan. Didn't have a plan. And you need a plan to defeat Calvin also. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You can have all the gear, but if you've got no idea, you're kind of screwed. 3-0 triple whammy.
All right. Moving on to Spartan, who makes it look easy, and it wasn't easy this week for Spartan. 1-2, rough week for our boy representing Sparta. And I didn't get a report from Sparta. I don't know if he was just depressed, if he fell in a hole, or what happened, but no report from Spartan. But that is a rough week. 1-2. He avoids the wooden spoon, but oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So rough week for our boy Spartan. Hopefully he can finish the season strong.
And we're on to Rand B. Rand did not have a good week. Didn't get a report, so I'm not quite sure what happened with the loss, but clearly it was not a good loss. The banners are under 6,000. So, I mean, you know,
Something happened.
Standard week is, you know, between 6,300, 6,400. Obviously, there's a win missing there. So he had a round where he did not get the full clear. There's 7 losses there. I'm guessing that he had one really bad round, and that's what caused the 2-1. So a little bit off the boil because he's been getting some 3-0s recently, but he has had a couple of crashes. It could be down to a crash. We'll never know.
Yep. All right, moving on to the heartthrob of the Outer Rim, my boy Urs, and the Hall celebrating a little bit. We've had some rough weeks from Urs, and back to back, 0-3s, 1 spoons, 1-2s. Can only imagine the carbonite that was thrown around, but this week was a pretty good week. 2-1 for Urs. That's a nice bounce back. I didn't get a report, so I don't know specifically what happened. So 2-1, we'll take it from the Hall.
He was 2-0 going into the 3rd round.
Oh, okay.
He was on for a triple.
Wow, so a really good week.
Yeah, it was a really good week. He was on for a triple, didn't quite get it in round 3.
Well, no, there you go.
There you go. Okay, Tilo Mad coming in with 2-1 this week. Not his best week. Round 1, easy victory. Stopped a clear from his opponent and got the win. Round 2, a favourite match for Tilo, despite the loss. One of his favourite matches, he said. Both competitors doing lots of groundwork, lots of scouting, so they were really both going for the win. Tilo went heavy on the D, but his opponent prevailed thanks to considerably more solid mods than Tilo, and that was the loss. Round 3, since the round 2 loss kind of ruined his week, Tilo went on a bit of a learning spree. He's learning about his roster. It worked well for him. He got the win, but I think a lot of people are preemptively kind of playing around with some new counters in preparation for the division reboot next month. 2-1 for Tilo.
All right, moving on to the only abominable snowman who doesn't like white camouflage in the Himalayas. And of course, we're talking about my boy Yeti. Yeti with another 3-0. And this report is brought to you by repeating the same thing happened over and over again for each of his rounds. Pretty much, I'm going to paraphrase. These are completely lopsided matches. Everybody got stuck on him. He had better mod depth, everything. It was like almost identical scores. Check this out: 2143, 1735, 2131, 1789, and then finally 2119 versus 1766. I mean, carbon copies of every round. They had no chance. I mean, just none. Yet he brought the pain. Was it triple crown, triple whammy? Good Lord. I mean,
yeah, triple crown. That's a nice triple crown for
that
Yeti.
is absolutely. I mean, I read the report. I'm like, good Lord, the exact same pretty much thing happened every time. Got the same score. So opponents just getting held up, couldn't get the full clear, and he just dominated. So outstanding job from Yeti.
Anybody looking at his previous week's stats would have been like, oh, this guy goes 2-1. That sort of, it's like no. That was a one-off. And this is him stamping down his authority. It's like, yeah, that 2-1 was such a one-off. Yeah. And there is Division 1, and we have Calvin Awesome sitting at the top.
It's his for the taking.
It is his for the taking.
Yeti's having an outstanding season. Just had one or two. Those two losses are rough. And, I mean, he's got an outside chance. You never know. You never know in GACenter when all of a sudden things can happen. But, I mean, it's all for Calvin Awesome to finish undefeated. Yeti's still going to have a hell of a good season. And then after that, it's kind of like, it drops off. But, I mean, there's an outside chance. It's a slim chance, but we've seen stranger things happen, Nev.
Yes. I'm chasing. I've set my sights on third. I've set my sights on Rand B. Because he's had a couple of 2-1s. Now, yes, he does have me on banners. He does have me on banners. But he's got me on banners because I missed an entire week.
Hey, that's up.
If I can score I think if I can score a 6,400, if I can do a triple, score a 6,400, and he just has to have one bad round. I can steal.
Asking a lot from Randy.
Yeah, I can steal third. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm aiming at. I'm stealing third. Okay, let's move on to the double A's, and we start our coverage with Fatal, also known as the Playbook.
The Playbook.
Round 1. Opponent only uses GAC as practice. So had one battle against Ray and conceded. So easy win for the Playbook. Round 2, Fatal went a little too hard on defense, thinking his opponent would suffer more damage. The strategy worked, as his opponent only took one territory. So the gamble paid off in round 2. Yeah, round 3, solid battle that ended with a flawless victory. Defense doing its job with a double-digit banner strip from Slacker and holds from Gas. 3-0, triple whammy to the Playbook.
All right, folks. This is not a typo. This is not an error. This actually happened. I was there for this round, and Olympus has fallen. The streak is over, and what a hell of a streak it was. It was there for the taking. Let's talk about Fort Mort. Shop Mort, folks. Shop S Fort. All right, round 1. Tough opponent, had 5 teams that are bigger than his top teams, but he went full offense and he was able to figure that out. And Mort, no problem, won by like 700 banners. Easy victory. He read his opponent perfectly, not a problem. Round 2, another good account, but still not, you get into that spreadsheet with Fort Mort, he's going to set your ass up. And he did again. He got the full clear, 2098 to 1466. So again, Fort Mort with the Excel spreadsheet, just, doing what he does. Round 3. So saw this guy at the start. He is a stupid good with 1,000 undersized good mods and a super focused roster. I referred to him as a bust 74 junior. I planned for him all week and it was good. Never done that. I found his weaknesses and he failed on one battle. It was CLS. Yeah, and I was there to see that. Give me an opponent. Give me an opening to win. He had an 8-banner advantage because he has 2 7-star ships and Mort's only got 5. So I had to get a hold to win. He got the hold. So he gambled a little bit to beat him. This is the only way he could have done it, but 2 bad turns cost him. He tried a Kylo solo on an OR that just quite didn't get there. And then after that, he had another team that just didn't work out. And not only did he not able to get past it, he ended up running out of time with the guy full clearing him. He says 69 Elizme this time. So streak ends at 68, but he does have his baby count, which is at 45. He says grass count on the one standing to my opponent, who is the better man today. So rough week for Fortmore, his first loss in 69 attempts. So
yeah, you've got to go all the way back,
That's how long this has been going on.
Of season 1 was the last time that
and he was on a 40 win streak at that time. He was going for number 40.
And he was on a big, I mean, so unfortunately, you know, he's not going to take the title. It's only the second longest win streak in GACenter history. He's not going to take the title from Bulldog, but I'm sure he'll be counting again. So next week will be 1. So let's see if he can do it by season 4 or season 5. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, moving on to DB. DB did not have a good week. DB really didn't have a good week at all.
That is some rough stats. Boy, that must have been some heartbreakers right there.
Well, I mean, you can see from the lack of holds that it was a bad week. So, I mean, obviously he won 1. He lost 1 without being able to get the full clear. And then I'm guessing that, you know, there was a 3rd round in here that he lost purely on efficiency. It's going to be purely on efficiency. But yeah, that was not a good week for DB. 1 and 2 for the penultimate week of the season.
All right. Well, the Tickle Tank Master is up next. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Rogers with the purple hair, Mr. Jigabachi, he has been on fire as well. Another 3-0 for Jig. Round 1, it's a super cool dude that joined the stream and has been there since. Good defense, but he got really crunched on my defense. I cleared, he did, and he wins by 200 banners. Round 2, another full clear. He says an 814K lifetime banner player, likes a solo and whatnot. I got holds of my G9 Darth Revan Malik, LOL. So he wins by 16 banners, but he got the full clears. Opponent got held up, and that's all it took. And then round 3, not as close. Opponent pulls everything for offense, puts sheets on defense. He still couldn't clear. I just threw them up a show at him and put up a nice score. All meme, wet dream. 3-0 for the Tickle Tank Master, Mr. Jigabachi.
Nice triple whammy there.
That was an outstanding ring.
Coming in with another 3-0. Now, Grid is on for a perfect season. He's on for a perfect not our
we can just keep him away from the shoeies.
If we can keep him away from the shoeies, he is on for a 12-0 because this puts him at 9-0 for the month. I think he was on the shoeies when he wrote his report because he put 6-0, and it's like no Grid.
Mass
9-0.
Yeah, mass
9-0, mate. But yes, so round 1, opponent had a weird history in that they did not attack too often. Grid got the flawless victory. His opponent conceded after 2 failed battles. Round 2, opponent set a defense, then did not show. Full clear for the Grid. And round 3, and his opponent showed up in the stream, which is always nice. Always a lot of fun when your opponent shows up in the stream. All was set for a fun, enjoyable, communicative GAC when the game crashed on his first battle. Yes. So what was to be a fun and happy GAC turned into a tense and stressful match. Saw Grid win for his 3rd consecutive triple whammy. 3-0, 9-0 for the month. Will he go 12-0?
Nice. Let's see what happens. All right, moving on to Rico. Suave. Coming in suave indeed, man. 3-0 from my boy Rico. He says 3-0, baby. Kyber's incoming. I can't miss that. That's right. Laugh is Kyber. Kyber's laugh, Rico. Don't you forget it. It says round 1, opponent had a Galactic Legend that didn't put on offense, and I scared him not to attack. He got the easy win. Round 2, a monster opponent, as Fortmore would say. A lot was on defense. 2 GLs, gas pad mag, down the line. His ships were trash, however. I managed to full clear him, took down his GLs, and was awaiting his attack. It never came. Round 3, again, opponent with GL, so I was up for a battle, none on defense. He must have seen my success towards defeating Galactic Legends and so forth. So I spent some good time coordinating my battles, and in the end, I took him down with 21-34 to 21-26. I call that very close, but the win assured me of Kyber because Kyber's life, and life is Kyber. Right, Ranger? You're damn right. Good job for Rico, 3-0.
Excellent triple whammy for Rico. Wiggins Bog with a 3-0. A triple whammy. We did not get a report, so we don't know just how good it was, but those stats look pretty decent. 13 holds, only 2 losses, wins across the board.
Here we go. All right, we go to my boy Ricky P.
Yeah, you know me.
Fail. All right.
You didn't say arcade. Oh, never mind. That's
I
your
did
fault. You didn't give me the cue.
I can't just. If I just say. Never mind. All right.
Never mind.
Yeah, just moving on. All
just
right.
moving on.
RKP and the Hizzy went 2-1 this week. It says round 1, full clear and lots of defensive holds. I felt like a king. No fails. Crown number 1. Round 2. Friends don't let friends drink in GAC. The king fell from his throne, and they couldn't get his ass back in it. So there was a loss. So that's where the loss was. Blamed on alcohol. Weak sauce. RKP. Come on, man. Round 3. Full clear. No fails. Crown number 2. Says 2-1 this week. Good banners, but I want that 3-0. Dang it. Well, quit doing shoeies on the Streamlight Grid, and these things won't happen. So there you go. 2-1 for our boy RKP.
Wrangler with a great week.
Wrangler's been doing pretty good lately.
Yeah, Wrangler had a good week. A triple whammy and
wow,
a decent score. The report doesn't leave much to the imagination. I mean, last week it was hell yeah.
Did you say this like
last week his report was hell yeah. 3-0, hell yeah. So, another 3-0, you'd be like, ooh, how does he top hell yeah? Okay, here's his report. Nice.
God.
That's how he
sums it up.
That's how he topped hell yeah. Nice. Not nice. Nice.
Nice.
With an O. So yes, 3-0. Good week for our resident space cowboy.
All right. Speaking of good weeks, we go to the Wolfman in the house. You said in the Wolf. That's all you had to say. 3-0 from the Wolf. Easy first round victory. No problems there. I mean, the guy I didn't think he even tried. Yeah, I could tell by the score he didn't. Round 2, it gets interesting. This is I was feeling a bit lazy. My opponent had some questionable offensive decisions, so let the defenses roll over. Opponent had some serious problems, and I got a few holds, especially with MM and SLKR. One shot is board for the easy win, and then round 3, not as close as round 2. Round 3 says opponent actually plays and plans, but it didn't really matter. 21-24 to 18-75, and he says, what is this? SLK is still standing to bring me to what is this? 8. Screw you, CG. Tie should go to the lower GP. That should have been a hashtag. He put the actual 8 number. And it says, for the season, easily in range of Kyber. So another fantastic week from the Wolfman.
Yeah, triple crowns, always sweet. Always sweet. And there is Division 1. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that Calvin Awesome from the A-League is the only competitor who is undefeated this season. Fortmore held that title with him until the bitter end, but with 1 week left to go.
Playbook's got an outside chance. I mean, it's slim. Like we talked about this before, but
yes, it is very slim, though. I mean, come on.
He has to hope Fortmore goes 1-2. I don't see that happening.
I just don't see
even
that.
2-1.
Although saying that, I mean, we never expected Fruit Ninja Mike to ever go 1-2, and he had that one horrendous week last season. I think it was in either month 3 or month 4 of the first season of the show, and out of nowhere, Fruit Ninja Mike just went 1-2, and I'm like, I was looking for the tie, but no, it was 2 losses. So it is possible. It's just not likely.
Yeah.
So we can say that. We can say it's possible, but not probable. It's highly unlikely. But Mr. Gigabachi, Mr. Big Gigabachi's got an outside chance of hitting second. The Wolf is out of contention. I mean, it's Football at the Playbook and Mr. Gigabachi all at the top of the AA League. And everybody's pretty even in the middle. Everyone's fighting it out for the middle of the table. But yeah, it's a lot of this is all going to get mixed up when we do season 3, because obviously the GP, the new divisions and the GP reboot, the division reboot is going to make things look a lot more interesting. So anyway, let's move on to the triple A's, and we start off with another 1
Well, there we
and
go.
2.
Here we go.
Another 1 and 2 from Thad.
Yeah.
He got his butt handed to him in round 1 for all of the wrong reasons. People were trying to help him in chat. People do. They try to help him in chat.
He has to want enlightenment. You can't give it to him.
He has to want to win it. And when he's got a 30-second delay and people are telling him to zig and he's zagging and then looking at the instruction and realizing he should have zigged when he zagged, then yeah, that's going to cause problems. He did win his second round, but then in round 3, it just fell apart. His round 3 just absolutely... He had the most incredible ground battle. One shots. He was listening to advice. He was listening to the instructions. He was doing what, people should do when they're baddies, is listen to the crowd. It got to Fleet, and he just stopped listening to everybody. So we're like, put this on Fleet. Do this. Do this. He just didn't listen, and he couldn't get past the malevolence. And so he went from what should have been an absolutely blinding third round, should have been a 21-30, 21-40, to absolutely collapsing. And 1 and 2 for Thad.
That's just the way he does it, man. Words are hard. All right. Speaking of having a rough week, man, Mud Bum, who's been on fire lately, 2 and 1. And let's see what a Mud Bum, I guess this little mud clay hut and the Mud Clay people just something went down this week. It says 2 and 1 again. Bum goes to DC. Can't focus on GAC. So I guess he was out of town. Trip.
Yeah, he was out of
that
town.
could be part of it. Yeah, but was on vacation.
That's understandable. Yeah. He's
on
vacation.
Round 2, he didn't put too much in his report. He says round 2 and 3 were the wins. Now round 1 is where he had the loss. And he says, don't remember many details because I had to rush through the battles. First one was against a solid opponent, but dropped a battle against Galactic Gray, and I knew I'd lose. Others were pretty uneventful, nothing really to report, he says. But that first round, Galactic Legend Ray, is what cost him to 3 and 0. You can tell from his stats, he still had an outstanding week, 2 and 1. But man, one battle really made all the difference. So yeah.
And Paul did not have a good week. His report,
man. Tell what he wrote.
His report contained 3 words: F this H. So yeah, Paul did not have a good week. Moving on.
You think with a wooden spoon?
Yeah, wooden spoon for Paul this week. Wooden spoon for Paul.
What was going on here? He's been having some decent success lately, and then all of a sudden,
I know he's been getting
the bed.
It was strange for him because he's been consistently getting 2 and 1s and just missing out on the 3 and 0, and then all of a sudden it's like
he gets close to maybe getting Kyber, and he's like he just falls apart. It's like
2 and 1, and then all of a sudden
0 and 3. Yeah,
0 and 3.
Oh, boy. All right, let's move on to something a little bit more happy to report. And of course, that's no space station. It's the moon. And he's again 3 and 0 for my boy, the moon. He says there's a little extra pressure on with the season coming to an end, and round 1 was easy. It was basically identical roster. It didn't really matter. He was able to do it. He read his opponent perfectly. He got the win 21-34 to 21-18. Again, second round, another close one, but it was that one battle he just expected, 21-22 to 20-95. Round 3, he says, went a little hard on defense, kind of paid off, got that hole that he needed, 21-30 to 20-99. And so it says, I think this was a triple camp, but can't remember, but I'll take it for what it is. So 3 and 0, outstanding job from the moon. 3 and 0. He just knew that team or teams that he could place on defense that would do what he needed to do. And and what's really good is his teams were very banner stealer terrific. So that's what really made a big difference for him.
Lovely triple crown there. Lovely.
Nicely done, man.
And we're on to DPK. Gold Star, the Gold Star Award this week goes to DPK for being the first to put a report on Discord. So I'm going to award gold stars to our competitors from now on. Yes, so gold star to DPK for being the first person to report this week. Round 1 played a guy he knew. So I think the stakes are always higher when you're playing against someone you know.
Sure.
Both competitors getting the one shot, but DPK's opponent had a better banner stripping defense than DPK, so that was the loss. Round 2 crushed his opponent. A couple of double taps here and there were needed for victory, but the D got the holds from GG, Django and Ray, so a solid victory there. And round 3 was more of the same from DPK, so solid week, just kind of pipped on efficiency in round 1 against the person that he knew. Good week for DPK, though.
All right. Moving on to Darth Kermit. Yeah, Kermit the Frog here from the Lords of the Sith, and I'm glad to see my namesake is living up to my Dark Lord of the Sith title. Yeah, see how he did. 3-0 for Darth Kermit. Round 1 says opponent couldn't clear SLKR from front row defense. He wins by 600 banners. Round 2, full clear for him again. Opponent didn't attack. Now, round 3, this was close. 21-12 to 2080, and he says he dropped a battle versus GG, was otherwise more efficient than my opponent. Didn't really slow him down. His opponent has some bad results. Still got the full clear on both people full clear, but more efficiency, man. What can I tell you? Another 3-0 for Darth Kermit. He's been having a really good solid couple of GACs.
Yeah, and this is why it's good that we get reports, because every now and then we don't get the stats.
Yeah,
we didn't get the stats for Kermit, but we got a solid report, so we know how he went, and we know what happened with this 3-0.
Yep.
Moving on to It's Just Ian, who had a good week. As you can see, he scored a triple whammy, 3-0. Not quite a 6,400, so
still good.
Obviously, still good. Not as efficient as one of the top theory crafters would like to get, but at least he's back. At least he's back scoring them 3-0s, because he has had a horrible couple of months of solid 2-1s, and either losing on efficiency, losing because of one match, or losing because of a crash. So yeah, everything went right for It's Just Ian this week.
All right, we move on to Lalinda. My name is Lalinda. You killed my SLKR. Prepare to die. 2-1 for our boy Lalinda, the Spanish sexual man himself. See how it played out. Round 1 was a win. This is my rival loss against Padme in First Order. Best defense team ever. Ha ha ha, he says. I just needed to clear, and he did. Round 2, this was where the loss happened. It says my Night Sisters lost for the first time in a lot of time against General Grievous. Says both lost one fight, but he did a lot better than I did. Banners. It came down to banners and efficiency, clears on both sides, but that's where it came down to, and the opponent got him there real close. Round 3 says I was in a rush doing the fights with less than 40 minutes to finish it. It was a little stressful, and he says I won by some banners of difference. So, and again, efficiency battles 2-1, really solid week. Just had that one fight in round 2 that kind of hosed him there.
Screwed things up, yeah.
And that's all it came down to. So, still really good week for Lalinda.
And we're on to Thisk, and Thisk had not as good a week as he normally does. I mean, Thisk regularly scored 6,400s, so it does make you wonder what went wrong this week. Yeah, round 1, an easy win against an opponent who didn't set a full defense, so that was a decent score. Round 2, flawless victory for Thisk, as this round saw an efficiency battle. Thisk's defense did make the banner difference very, very convincing, so 2-0 going into round 3. Round 3, and Thisk was set a testing chase score of 21-27. Now, under normal circumstances, you thinking Thisk, 21-27, dude usually scores 21-40s, 21-50s. So what went wrong? Yes, well, the chase resulted in a risky battle that caused a loss, and then he had a high banner loss against the negotiator fleet. And
you know those flissises.
Those flissises, yes, those negotiator flissises. Yes, anyway, that's what caused the banner loss and ultimately the round loss, 2-1 to Thisk this week. Dr. Zeppers.
Oh boy.
Okay. Dr. Zeppers, there's no report from Dr. Zeppers, so I'm just going to say one thing. Step away from the tequila.
Oh boy, look at this.
step away from
Ooh,
the
that's a
tequila.
lot of losses there, baby. Wow.
14 losses. So yeah, didn't make a 600. Didn't make a 6,000. So yeah, I'm guessing he got stuck behind some pretty tough defenses. Dr. Zeppers does regularly go up against GLs, so I mean it is understandable. But you know, he's been putting in some work, getting some 2-1s. So a 1 and 2 this week, he's not going to be pleased with himself.
No.
And there is the AAA League.
I mean, this
Moon's doing it.
Moon's, I mean, he's been coming on strong of late.
Yeah.
And even if he goes 2-1 this week, I mean, this needs him to go 1 and 2 just to tie him. And I think he'll get him on banners, but that's it. So he has to hope Moon forgets how to play the game or something happens, because that's his only shot. And I just don't see as much of a win streak as the Moon has been on. We've seen crazier things, but even if they get 1 and 2, I mean,
looking at the records, he has had 1, 1 and 2 before.
But yeah, for this to win, I mean, he has to go 0 and 3. Yeah. And there's no way on this good green earth that Moon's going to go 0 and 3. I'd stroke out if that happens. So
yeah, no, it's not going to happen. And like I said, he's only gone 1 and 2 once in the last 2 seasons. Once. I mean, yeah, sure, he's had plenty of 2 and 1s, you know, over the course of 2 seasons, but he's only ever gone 1 and 2 once. Right. 1 and 2 once, and that was smack bang at the end of season. It was right at the end of season 1. Right at the end of season 1. So yes.
See what happens.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to have another slight break here, so that we can run some commercials, and we will be right back afterwards.
Are you a member of Team Paul or Team Neil? Maybe you prefer story time with the llama, or dabble in the buttery side of the force with Biscuit Weasel. Or maybe you like the escape pod talents from down under like Heinzie and Scotty. No matter who you support, you can get one of my designs from the Escape Podcast merch store. Just go to escapepodcastaways.com, click on the merch link, and it will take you to the TeePublic site where you can support me, Mrs. Anthony, also known as Critty K. Also be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast's Discord server weekly to vote for my latest shirts in the Design Derby on Woot. Links for both of these are down below. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Does your guild want to tap into their full potential in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Yeah! For as low as $1 a month per guild member, your guild can unleash the power of the game in ways you never thought possible. Ooh. Track your arena movements, guild progression, and much, much more. Contact Shitty Bill and get one of his shitty bots on your server today. Just look for him on our Discord server and tag or message him for more information. The link for our server is below in the description. Shitty bots, don't let the name fool you.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
And we're right back. And
hey, look at that.
Let's get stuck into some big boy action, the major leagues and AAA.
Here we go.
We're off to the races.
All right. We start off with my man, E-Grace Gamer. You know, folks, when you're looking for love in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, why don't you check out egrace.com? Your needs for all the love you need to find in SWGOH. All right. 2-1 for our boy, E-Grace Gamer. Oh, yeah. It says round one, this was the loss. He said he had me beat with a double the speed mons. He left a stout defense, and that was basically steamrolled, and I barely got it full clear. He rocked and rolled. So this was the loss. Now round 2 and 3, these are wins. This is round 2, opponent left a soft D and somehow couldn't clear my board. And that pretty much was all she wrote, as E-Grace got the win. And then round 3, same as last round, felt short of beating ship zone, couldn't full clear, had some problems, and his offense scored at 21-20. So a really solid week for E-Grace. Just first round, just that one opponent kind of wrecked him a little bit. But other than that, had a really good week.
And we're on to good old Maurice, who needs this solid finish in order to solidify his position at the top, because Dylar has been hot on his heels all season. So 3-0, defense dominated this week, with opponents unable to get going, averaging only 1,400 against him per round. So Gom used a bunch of obscure counters and tested out various things on defense, continuing to see the usefulness of teams like Mon Mothma and the Mandos as kind of like catch-all high banner B team counters. Took a few losses. He did take a few losses. You can see them there, 5, but continues to place both his get 2 fleets to kind of, balance out the banners. Attempting to finish out Kitty GAC and end GACenter season strong in the final week. 3-0, triple whammy to good old Maurice.
Nicely done. Next, we move on to my boy Dylard, using those Twi'lek tactics that came through again. Those sexy Sith ladies are really doing some work for him. He says 3-0, Tarkin, who knew? He says round 1, I got matched up with a guy I beat in the finals of week 2. I switched up some defense. He switched up some defenses, but the Twi'lek tactics went out again. He failed once on Negotiator and twice on Tarkin, leaving the Executrix standing strong. Round 2, another win up against a spear opponent. My phone crashed on his GG team, which then required 2 additional teams to take it down. Good game mess, but alas, my raid held, my Beskar Mando held. The mess stopped, and they conceded. Round 3, my opponent attacked first. Somehow he failed once again on my GG team, but ships, oh baby, he failed once on Negotiator and thrice on Tarkin, once again leaving the Executrix standing strong. And then he says finally, hey Bam, what's up? What's up, Bam?
Oh, throwing shade at Bam.
Yeah, 3-0.
Hey, Bam said that Dylar was his nemesis for this season, but
sure did.
That didn't work out like that. No, it didn't work out that way at all. Anyway, the Aussie Adonis with another 2-1 this week.
Look, there's some good preloading that happened this week.
There was some very good, I did send you to him saying, where's the preloading? And he duly honored his commitment as the preload king. He gave us, there's 9 losses there, so that would have been a lot of enjoyable preloading, I imagine. But still, even with all that preloading to finish 2-1 for the week, that's a good week for Heinze. 2-1.
Yeah. So, all right. Van Sill had a rough week this past week. He says 1-2. My mind wasn't in this week. Got it way too busy for real life, aka finals for school. I know how that is. When you're dealing with finals, your mind ain't where it needs to be. You're focused on what's more important. It says round 1, made the rare mistake of clicking on the wrong team, so I wasted one of my GLs and it cost me the match. Round 2, another efficiency battle. My opponent took advantage, had more GLs than me, so he placed an extra one on defense. And round 3, got a pretty good score. He says my opponent went first and failed on my fleets. Fleets seem to be where I'm getting most of my hulls. So overall, not too bad considering how quick my streams were and how I got a lot going on. I was pretty happy how consistent I've been taking down 343 Darth Revan's my new bounty hunter counter with Greedo replacing Boba. So 1-2, Van Sill, even though he's dealing with finals, he was able to make it happen.
On to Kioe, and he's really come strong at the end of this season. He's really been picking it up, and you'll notice when you see the division, when you see the div table. I mean, he started mid-table. He didn't really start off very well. He has come so strong towards the end. Round 1 and a very close match that saw Kioe need a double tap on a slacker. But the scores were tied going into Fleet, where Thrawn held for Kyoe, giving him the victory. Round 2, lots of errors in this match for both competitors. And it was Bam and Ray on the back wall that came to Kyoe's rescue to get the win. Round 3, and an opponent looking for guild revenge. He was facing an opponent from the same guild as someone he beat last week. So the guy was out for blood. They might have got it, but they saved all their GLs for offense and didn't get a one-shot. Kyoe did, and he picked up a triple whammy. 3-0, triple whammy for Kyoe.
All right, another person who had another good week is my boy, the sexy lightsaber builder himself, the Buddha, the one and only Sir Loki. 3-0 for Sir Loki from RSG. He says, round 1 win, we both full cleared, but my opponent got hung up on a few of my defenses, and I got hung up on only one, 2089 to 2046. Round 2, and he says he switched up the defense and put 4 GLs on my opponent and was able to full clear his 1 GL defense easily. Even did this in front of the Gambit podcast stream. That was on Friday. I remember that. His opponent could not clear my back wall of SLK and JML. My final score, 2107 to 1822. Round 3, nail biter on this one by 2 points. I failed hard on my opponent's GG and on his Rebel Fleet really bad. My opponent had fails on my GG team, 3 attempts, and SLKR, 2 attempts. Came down to fleets, but my opponent was 2 points short. Hats off to him, 2065 to 2063. In the end, it's all good. 3-0 for Sexy Buddha.
On to Lazy Turtle with another 2-1. Round 1, didn't play well. Lost a couple of battles. He thought he was going to lose the round until he watched his opponent play worse than him. Win for Lazy Turtle in round 1. Round 2, a rinse and repeat round for Lazy, as the same outcome from round 1 occurred in round 2. And then came round 3. 2 weak defenses and 2 high scores. Lazy could have got the triple, but he lost by 3 when he didn't do a solo. He threw his 4 Bad Batch members in for the last battle. If he'd just gone solo, he would have won. He would have finished with a triple whammy for the week. So it's all his fault. It's all Lazy's fault. He didn't go 3-0. 2-1 for the week, though.
Still good week.
Still good week.
All right. The Mace lover himself, Ram Bam, submitted another report. I'm shocked. Had another good week, 3-0. He says, planning pays off. Round 1, struggled against several of his teams, but knew that he couldn't beat my defense, so ended up with a 20-25 to 14-20. Outstanding. Round 2, I one-shot everything on his defense until a crash killed me on ships the very last hit. Still came back and got a 2099 to 2087 as my defense held strong. Round 3 says, I knew I was up against the monster well, but he didn't give the mods to boot. I lost 4 battles against his Ray 501st, but it ended up he couldn't one-shot my DR, which allowed me to sneak the win 2080 to 2077. I would just like to say for the record that in none of those reports from Ram Bam, Mace was mentioned as a difference maker. Good job, Relicanate your Mace. Bam.
Oh, we're on to Warrior. 2-1 for the week. Round 1 was against an elite Kyber player who played absolutely outstanding. Warrior lost by 57. Ooh. And he only had 2 double taps. So, yeah, that guy scored hard on him. Round 2, another close match, but Warrior came out on top. The Gideon team that he faced did need a triple tap, but victory was secured by 27 banners, and he has now put that Gideon team that he lost 3 times to in his pocket. He's keeping an eye on that for himself. Round 3, a clean sweep for Warrior this round as his opponent stumbled to clear a Padme hybrid team. I'm curious to know what this Padme hybrid team is made up of, but it stopped his opponent dead in his tracks, and holds from other teams gave him an excellent victory. 2-1 for Warrior presents.
All right, we move on to the Nooch.
Nooch.
He says 1 and 2 consistently outnumbered with the GLs, always 3 for them and 2 for the Nooch. Says first round win, and then played with some stiffer defenses and walked away with 2 losses. Seems like the Nooch should just set a middling defense and hope for fleets to hold it going forward. Rough week for the Nooch, 1 and 2.
It's Mandy.
Wow.
Yeah. Mandy went 1 and 2.
Ouchie.
Yeah. I'd love to know how that week went. I can picture. See, what's in my head is, you know, a sweet round 1, and then no clearance in round 2 and no clearance in round 3. So you get that gorgeous start to the beginning of the week, and then it just goes downhill in round 2, and in round 3 you just fall off the cliff. So 1 and 2 for Mandy this week.
That's rough.
And there is the Major League table. Good old Maurice
All
and
right.
Dylar hitting it again.
Dylar is on his. He's there, but again, mathematically, you got to think. I mean, I don't think Gom's had a 1 and 2 since he's been.
He hasn't had a 1 and 2 this month. He's hit 3 and 0 all this month.
Right.
But so is Dylar. And the problem was when Gom hit his 2 and 1 was the same week that Dylar hit his 2 and 1.
Yeah.
So whenever Gom has hit 2 and 1, Dylar hasn't been taking advantage and hitting a 3 and 0. He's been hitting a 2 and 1.
Yeah,
so it's kind of weird.
He's got to hope. Yeah, there's no way. Dylar's got to go 3 and 0 and hope Gom goes 1 and 2, and he can get him in banners. I mean, unless Gom goes 0 and 3, which I just can't see happening ever.
No.
So I think it's Gom's to win quite comfortably. So if Gom just does what Gom does, but still a great run from both Dylar and Kiwi, who've really come on strong as of late. I mean, Kiwi especially just coming in rock solid.
He's been coming in very, very hot this month. Very, very hot. Not just getting the 3 and 0s, but scoring high as well to give him a superior banner difference to everybody around him. I mean, he's got 2,000 on every single person around him. So, you know, if he's tying with people below him, he's still above them. And he's taking that banner advantage into the final week. Dylar does not want to be going 2 and 1.
No.
Or he's going to lose that second spot. And, I know Dylar wants his name in silver. He wants his name, and he does. He wants that name. He wants his name in silver, but he ain't going to get it if Kiwi beats him. So, anyway, it's time to move on to... Well,
before we do, can we just say how Rambam had made Dylar his...
Yes. Yeah. Rambam at the beginning of the season said that he was going to make Dylar his nemesis. He was going to be his main rival, and he is a full 6 rounds behind him.
Just want to throw that out there, throwing more shade on the Mace Lover. All right.
I mean, Rambam's still, you know, a decent competitor. He's in the top half of the Major League. But you know, he's kind of like in that middle.
Oh no, Ram's having a good season, but I mean, he called out Tyler. I'm like, okay, man. Oh boy. So, all right, should we move on to the Premier League?
Let's move on to the Premier League because some interesting stuff happened.
Yes, we do. I'm in shock again. Bitcoin, my God, cryptocurrency has just not been working for this guy lately. I mean, I'm in shock. 2 and 1 for Bitcoin. Let's see what happens. Round 1, he always set the same defense, so I kept the ideal offense and got to 21.44. He only cleared half. Typical Bitcoin kind of round. Round 2 says, I fought a guildmate, so we streamed it on Discord, taking turns with a bunch of guildmates watching. I tried to set a map that would make this match entertaining as possible and intentionally took his bait in the front. We had a lot of fun, interesting matchups until Armor decided that taking a turn for SWGOH second one was unnecessary. Left me unable to clear. And that's where the loss happened. And then round 3 says he couldn't clear the back wall. I had an awkward game crash with Trey against Geos, but still got 21-25. So really, it was against a guildie. It's just one of those things. You can look at the stats. It's just like, oh boy. But Bitcoin, another loss. I'm just shocked again. It just
I mean, it's not just a loss. It's not getting the clear. It's not getting the clear.
That's even crazier.
Which is just
ridiculous.
I mean, on every other occasion he's lost, it's been a loss through just being that tiny little bit less efficient than his opponent. But on this occasion, he did not clear his opponent, and that is just absolutely unheard of for Bitcoin in the 9 months we've been covering him on this show. Absolute bonkers. So that's going to make things look interesting on the table. On to Arnold. Arnold, coming off a high of a 3-0 last week, comes down to a low with a 2-1. Now, you can't say that it was bad play. It was probably just poor efficiency. because, you know,
and not that poor. You got 63-30. I mean, good lord.
Exactly, a 63-30. So his opponent must have scored an absolute monster on him, because I mean, those scores tell me that he was consistently hitting 2100. If you're consistently hitting 2100 in each and every single round, you expect to go 3-0. You just do.
Yeah.
Because you don't even need a flawless victory to get a 2100. So yeah, I'd be very, very interested to know what round it was and exactly what his opponent did to him. Be very, very interested to know that. Loki probably knows the person that beat him, because Loki plays a lot of the people that are in and around that GP gap that Arnold's in. So be interested to know if Loki can say something in the chat and let everybody know. But 2-1 for Grand Admiral Arnold T101.
All right. Next up is my Ranger brother from another mother. I'm talking about my boy Ando, and Ando had another good week, 3-0. Says round 1, I tried to start a conversation with this guy, fearing an auto deploy. He responded, so I thought we were good. Nope, auto deploy. 21-13 to 8-30. Nice, easy round 1. Round 2 was Dark Knight from Death Star Port Designers with a close to 800K lifetime banners. Was my next opponent. I picked up some history and decided to keep 3 GLs for offense, which did the trick. I was worried, but then he put 2 into my gas 5 first and didn't clear due to gas. 21-13 to 1867. That is an outstanding score against the top GSC opponent. And then the round 3 was George from Midichlorians Latino, came in with the unexpected 3 GL defense, was not prepared for that and thought he wouldn't have enough to full clear me, but he did at the pace of 20-20-25 to my 20-20-91. So he was able to get the win, even though it was a little bit more than he expected. He says, hitting to the last week of the season, and I'm like, hashtag my family is still in town. Hashtag, but can't stop the GAC. Hashtag, Mo relics, Mo problems. Hashtag Premier League, a scam. How dare you, sir?
How dare you?
Listen here, Ranger brother. I'll punch you right in the face. You better get that crap out of here.
And we're on to Black Mamba. Another
What
2-1.
the hell, Black
Mamba. He was kind of like clawing his way out of the bottom half of the bottom. He was on his way up. He was on his ascendancy. He was starting to catch Ando. Obviously, we will no longer be doing. There will not be 3 people being relegated from the Premier League because of the division reboot. But you still don't want to be one of those 3 people that finishes in the bottom of the Premier League, because you know what would have happened if CG didn't do what they did. You'd be getting relegated to the major leagues. So only a 2-1 for Black Mamba this week.
All right, we go up to my man Fruit Ninja Mike, the greatest assassin with fruit produce ever to exist. Another dominating performance from my boy Fruit Ninja Mike. 3-0. He says, looking for a strong, clean finish to my career, because this will be the last time this week that we see Fruit Ninja Mike here. He said round 1 utterly forgettable, nothing to report. He must have dominated, as you can tell by the stats. Round 2 would have been a totally fine clear, but Sith Marauder totally wrecked my trooper team versus C, so I had to get nasty with Cam for the clear. Opponent clear, but much less efficient. Good win for me. Round 3, first time ever someone has had me beat on 25 speed mods. They had 30. Very solid defense at my opponent, but I still managed to get a 21-17 on the backs of Vader and Ray Troopers versus DR. Opponent had some close banners going to the fleet and needed to be pretty much perfect. They lost 1 versus negotiating. It was all over. Can't help but feel I dodged a bullet. So an outstanding week from Fruit Ninja Mike.
End all be all.
There we go. Here we go.
3-0 with a 63 triple crown, flawless victories from Endall in all 3 rounds, and territory holds for Endall in all 3 rounds. We do not call him the King of D for nothing. Endall is already experimenting with B team counters in preparation for the GAC division reboot. 3-0 triple crown for Endall.
All right, next we go to the man who hates teamwork, and I'm talking, of course, about Solo. This is what I expect from Solo. He's other than that period that he kind of was having some bad times, he's really played well of late. 3-0 for Solo. He says round 1, he set Ray and DR and tried to play efficiently. I won by 9 banners as we both one shot. Round 2, guys, he sets 4 GLs plus Star Rev on defense. I lost to his GG with MM as I was trying to save my meta teams for the back. He cheesed the back. He then lost my gas in the back. I got a 66 and 67 in fleets, and he won by 11 on that round. And then round 3, opponent places C on defense. In response, I put JML from front bottom. He never saw my back zone while I beat a C with troopers. Of course you did. God, I bet you have Dark Trooper just sitting there just kicking on ass. I love Dark Trooper. It says easy win for the championship. So 3-0 for solo. Outstanding week.
Ooh, Indigo won't be pleased with that. He's one of the people propping up the bottom of the table. 2-1. Round 1 was an easy win against an auto deploy. Round 2, an efficient opponent. So, you know, Indigo gambled on the previous success of hiding his C in the back. It worked then. It didn't work this time when he got his ass whooped. So that was the loss. Round 3, you know, Indigo was a lot more efficient than his opponents, seeing the success other competitors have had with BAM on defense, on the back line. 2-1 for Indigo.
All right, we move to the Emperor himself, Zareth, who, after a tough 2-1 last week, bounces back to what we expect from him, 3-0. He says, at some point in week 1, I promised to place at least 3 DLs and DR on defense for the rest of the season. Round 1 says, I went up against a guy who openly admitted he keeps everything for offense and plays a ton on defense, and I beat him because of defense. Round 2, guy with more defense than me. He always places 3 GLs, Darth Revan, and GG. I did the same and added 2 GS to the mix. I knew how to beat this team with off netting, and he couldn't clear me, and I got a 21-16. Round 3, XGL mate, now in call patrol. He places a rough defense, so I doubled down. My second weakest team on defense was CLS. I was a little bit inefficient, but he couldn't clear me and failed multiple times. So 3-0 for Zareth. He says both alts won all their matches, Nev. Hashtag alt lives matters. Hashtag can I actually pull this off?
And we round out our coverage today with Ranger J, 1999, a 3-0, 63-19, a triple whammy. Full clear, easy wins, all 3 rounds, nothing to report. And then you yelled at me.
Yes, because I felt like it. Because
you felt like it.
It really was. I mean, none of my opponents could clear it. None of them can do anything. They either, you know, they tried everything they could, but had no problems. The only 2 losses I had was some weird thing happened with the Padme team, and I don't remember the other one, but it was really nothing to report. I mean, they kept all 3, I think, got stuck on my Ray, and some other teams that just had holds all over the place. So by the time I was doing stuff, it was just getting the full clear and getting as many banners as I could. So I got a little, I know what it was. It was against, I think I used Finn Lead Vader. I hadn't used that before, so I was playing around a little bit. We almost pulled it off against Darth Revan. Came down to Malik, and I just couldn't beat it. So that was a loss. And then some reason I was using my team against Padme, and for some reason it was going perfectly, but Ayla went yellow when, I mean, I just didn't think she was that weak. And then Anakin took his big hit, and I was like, oh no, 1A.
Oh, no, 1A.
So that kind of went crap in another round. So that close to being perfect, but I'll take it.
Okay, so major changes to the top of the table. Here we go.
Look at this.
Look at that. Okay, so Fruit Ninja Mike holds the 3rd position, but Bitcoin goes from 2nd all the way down to 4th.
Wow.
And Endall leapfrogs Fruit Ninja Mike because he scored more banners this week. But as you can see on the table, it is a difference of 3.
3 banners.
Fruit Ninja Mike and Endall Be All are tied on rounds, and there is a 3 banner difference between the 2 of them. So it's going to be an interesting week. It really is going to be an interesting week.
And so here's the thing: Zareth has to go 3-0.
Yeah, Zareth
he
has to go 3-0.
cannot have a 2-1 and have them go 3-0 because he does not have the banner. So I mean, I expect Zareth to do what Zareth does, but you never know. I never thought he was going to lose, and he did. So you never know what to expect. But yeah, man, this is going to be a crazy finish to this week. And
it's nuts. It's so close. It's so wonderfully close.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous, man. I mean, I'm in 5th spot.
Well, here's the thing.
But these monsters, man, let me tell you, folks, man, trying to catch these monsters, it's just been ridiculous, man. You know, oh my God, they're so good. All these players are so good. Jesus
Fruit Ninja
Christ.
Mike, Fruit Ninja Mike has the advantage though, because he's retiring. So I don't, you know, you might know, you might not know, but he blew all of his resources throwing relics on characters and all of his Zetas. So he put like 20 Zetas on characters. So he's literally got nothing in the tank. He doesn't need to save anything for future characters. No. He is literally blowing his load on everything that he's got now. So he could, as long as he puts in, I mean, they're both going to need triple whammies.
Right.
Minimum. Mike and Endel are going to need triple whammies, minimum, bare minimum. A triple crown would be the icing on the cake. And then it's just, you know, keeping their fingers crossed. Is somebody going to beat, is someone going to beat Zareth? So, yes, it's going to be, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Anyway, this is the end of our coverage. But what we're going to do now is, as always, we are going to run the clip reel from the week. So you'll get to see some highlights from all of our competitors that are lovingly and affectionately put together by Andy Beads. Let's roll VT. And I've been stunned. Oh, no, no!
Arc. Build one up. Okay, gone. Good. Basic. I think we can do, yeah, we can get rid of him here.
Yeah, basic.
Basic.
We save the big,
gone.
Save the big for the else.
Okay.
Big right, hit. The force I save you. Nice. Okay, now use the big hit. Keep offense left 18.
That heal. Nice.
Heal up, yep.
Woo! Okay.
Big hit.
Big hit. Whammo!
Nice! Nice job.
Let's go.
That was great.
Let's go.
Nice work.
That's crazy. Good.
I'm in trouble. I need these dots to land, or I am not going to win this. Thank you, Tenacity Down. Please kill her. Of course not. Why would that kill her? Why would I think that would kill her? Of course it wouldn't. Dude, these Vader mods suck. All of this sucks. Just stun him. Dead. Everybody's dead. Yep.
A solo is probably possible, but I'm not taking any chances. Boom. Doing this. Let's go after a spy. Good spy. Get it? Good spy. Me and my humor. Dots here. Can we get GBA out? Ba-doom. Alright, fracture you.
Let's use a basic. It's such a stupid character. Oh my god, he's so dumb. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do this. That's so stupid. It's so dumb. What have you done, CG? What have you...
Oh, look at this. How sweet that looks. Wow, are we gonna take away Dark? Oh, we're gonna take away... What? Are we gonna take away Malik's TM2? Oh my goodness. Dude, we totally are. Look at Greedo go. Look at this. Oh my god.
Let's go ahead and trigger the B2, knock his tummy back if I can. I need Rex to take a turn right meow. Okay, let's get the target lock off. It's like we're doing Light Side Geo right now. Basic.
I guess stealthing Cam is the way to go. Because even if he links, then Cam is not linked. And Cam is by far the most important here. Come on. Yes! 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 Ah!
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, those are some good.
There's some quality clips in there, including me throwing my phone. So, yeah, just want to say thank you to all of the new people that followed. Thanks for the subs from The Gig and from Ray Rock. Much appreciated. It all helps the show and keeps the, keeps the wheels turning. That little mouse in the wheel keeps him turning. Anyway, we've got one more week of our season left. It's going to be, well, I mean, there's definitely, there may not be some interesting fights for first other than the Premier League, but there's definitely some battles for second in some of the lower divisions. The Moyo Vendetta one, that's going to be an interesting one with one in there. The Dylar Kiyoe one's going to be interesting in the Major League. I mean, it's all possible. Some of these gaps, maybe 2 rounds, but, these competitors have gone 1 and 2 on very, very rare occasions. And there is the possibility of some content creator matchups this week. I don't know if you've heard or seen about these, Ray.
Yes, I have. Yes, we have.
So we've got a potential Rambam Lazy Turtle. They are in the same group as each other. And we also have a good old Maurice and Solo have also been put in the same group. Whether they'll face...
You want another one?
What?
Smokey with the rematch against the GAC Whisper Thane again.
Oh, okay. So, last week for the, I think it's really, really nice for the last week of GAC in its current format. I mean, it'd be really, really nice if these guys can go 2-0.
Really would.
So that they all face each other in the final, make the final round of the final week really, really, really matter. It would be absolutely cracking to see something like that. But we'll never know, unfortunately. We will never know. But
we'll have to wait and see.
Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of our coverage this week.
Well, I don't really have anything.
Not he's not been in the chat, so I'm assuming he's busy doing other things. But
yeah.
If you tell me to push the button and end the show, Ranger, we will do that. And then
why don't you push those buttons?
I will push some buttons. Toodles, everybody.
Yeah, let's push those.